Hi YouTube. I thought I'd just give a little update on how I'm finding some of the products I bought from the Chanel Autumn Fall 2013 range, because I did a video as soon as I'd hauled them, and that's what I often do, and then I don't tend to talk about how I've actually found the products once I've used them, unless they make it to a favourites video or well, I never seem to use up anything in the makeup. So I never really give any feedback of that. And I thought, well, I actually have been using these products quite a lot, and my opinions about them have sort of changed as I've got to know them. So that's what this is all about. I bought quite a few items from the new range for one reason or another. The items that you see in front of you and two of the nail polishes. I bought Mysterious and Alchemie, the two greeny polishes. I didn't buy Elixir, the pink-red cream, although, to be honest, I probably will before it runs out. And I'm actually wearing Mysterious at the moment. That's the one that I've worn the most. I like both of the polishes. I love Chanel nail polishes. I really collect them. Of all the brands, I find them the most consistently wearable, so it's not a surprise to know that I would like them. Alchemy, which is the limited edition and probably most unusual of the three, a duochrome light green, khaki green, like the kind of baby sister of the famous Peridot. I like it more than Peridot, which is a fantastic shade to have in your collection to look at in the bottle, but to be honest, I don't find that wearable. It's just too noticeable, too flashy, excuse me, not that flattering to my skin tone. And if I'm honest, Alchemy is in the same range. It's a bit more wearable, but I can't, for example, wear it for work. It's not work appropriate, and it's not the most flattering shade. I would also say that I haven't found it is the most durable or long-lasting of Chanel polishes. They are very, very variable from being good to being quite poor, and I would put Alchemy down at the poorer end of the durability range. It flaked and chipped even with base coat and top coat professionally applied in a salon in about 2 days, which is not great. Mysterious, on the other hand, is good. I can get about 4 to 5 days wear from it with base and top coat before there is tip wear and chipping, which is about the maximum I ever get from any range, to be honest, even though I don't do a lot of housework. Nail polish doesn't last very well on me. I'm always amazed when people talk about not having any wear after 7 days, because I invariably do have it after about 5 days, have to touch up and then replace, usually 5 to 6 days into a manicure. But anyway, so those are the nail polishes. I did like both of them. I don't regret buying either of them. Then of the makeup items that I bought, the big surprise, well, two surprises to me. First of all, the single eyeshadow, which I got in the shade Gri-Gri, which all the blogs and YouTube and advertisements had talked about being a very unusual and attractive shade, but most of them don't absolutely rave about it. The other one in the singles, I've forgotten what it's called, is a more matte shadow, whereas this is quite glittery. It does have a degree of fallout. It applies as a sort of silvery taupey grey, and I find it an absolutely magnificent shadow. I'm not a fan normally of single shadows. I prefer to get a palette so that, you know, I can conveniently have 2 or 3 or 4 shades together. I'm not generally a fan of Chanel eyeshadows. I do have and have kept and am still enjoying their holiday palette from last year. But other than that, I don't have any of their quads at the moment. I find the consistency inferior to Dior, even MAC, and certainly Burberry. But this one I absolutely love. It's a really versatile shade, I've found. If I want to do just a quick eye makeup, there is something about the colour payoff in this shade, which looks different in different lights, that even looks different on different parts of the eyes. So I can sweep this all across the lid and into the crease, and somehow the crease still looks defined in a different colour from the lid. So it's a really fantastic all-purpose shadow. There is a bit of fallout, and whilst I like the consistency and it does feel nice, it isn't quite up there in texture with the Burberry shadows, which in my opinion are the best consistency and feel, as well as having some nice colour payoffs. But it's very close, and it just is a fantastic shade. If I want to build up the shade, I've been wearing it over one of the Illusion d'Ombre in Epatante, which is in the same sort of colour spectrum, but a much more greeny, warm-toned than, well, they look quite different there than the more beigey colour, but together they make a really, really pretty combination on the lid. I should have brought a brush to show you how this pays off. But somehow the Epatante adds a depth, and there's a shimmer there without being too sparkly or glittery. So I'm really, really pleased with the single Gri-Gri shadow. I would recommend it, I guess, more highly than a lot of the blogs that I've seen. I mean, it's pricey, £22, so you need to be sure that it's a shade you like, but I found it a really useful investment. I'm even considering buying a backup because it is limited edition, but that's a bit stupid because it takes me forever to use a shadow. Now, the other product that I'm surprised how much I've liked is the mascara, and this is, what's it called? Le Volume de Chanel. It's a long time since I've had a Chanel mascara. I have difficulties with mascaras. I've never found one that I really, really 100% fantastically like. My issue is I've got quite long lashes naturally, don't you hate me? And when I put mascara on, certainly the bottom, but even the top, I get flaking and panda eyes in almost every shade, even the waterproof ones, every make rather. And I often find they don't make that much difference to my lashes, or they just look clumpy. I have to say, I bought this mascara for the colour. It's the limited edition Khaki Brown. It's a slightly unusual brush, funny sort of little tufts. I found it absolutely fantastic. I can wear it for 12 hours. It stays in place, but it's not hopeless to remove. I'm just astonished that more people aren't raving about this particular make of mascara, Le Volume de Chanel. It's really pricey. I think it's about £20. But if you're willing to pay that, it's the first mascara I have ever used, which I'm 100% satisfied with. So pretty astonishing, really. More on the fence with Les Beiges. I just love the packaging. I love having it in my handbag. I picked the shade number 30 that is to use effectively as a contouring bronzer rather than finishing powder. I had read a lot of the French blogs and actually spoken to somebody in France about it, where they, advise you to use it in that way. Whereas I think the Lisa Eldridge YouTube videos, Lisa Eldridge is kind of the professional makeup face involved with Chanel. They used to promote in the UK. She did a video where she used it effectively as a finishing powder, which I think confused a lot of people. I'm sure you can use some of the shades that way, but they're not particularly special, having swatched them on that basis. Whereas as a contour bronzer for particularly the fair-skinned, this works very well. And I don't regret buying it. I am enjoying it. I find it applies best with a very dense brush. I use an old Chanel Kabuki that I've got to get the colour payoff. The brush that comes with it is worse than useless, and it's lovely to have in your bag as a sort of touch-up to contouring during the day. I do still prefer the cream Tan de Soleil as my contour bronzer. So, you know, I'm not sure if you're just in the market for a bronzer that this is the one to get. But I do like it, and I don't regret buying it. The item that I'm still on the fence with really is the cream blush. I ended up getting Fantastic, the most fuchsia of the pinks. And I do find it, you can see there the fantastic colour payoff, but it's almost too much. I have to apply it with a duo fibre brush, as they did in the shop, and you can get a really good colour with that, but you have to be very light-handed, so it's not a blush that I want to use in the morning if I'm in a rush doing my makeup. And if you make a mistake and put too much on, it's quite difficult, because the one thing you can say about this is once it's on and it's dried, and it dries in seconds, it stays there, so you don't have to reapply blush during the day, which is probably a good thing. It's this really interesting texture, promoted as a cream blush, and it feels creamy when you do that, but it dries to the skin as a powder very, very quickly. And you can blend it out, but you've got to blend it really, really quickly, and then that's it. So I'm still on the fence with this. I don't feel I've had long enough to play with it, and I might consider going and looking at another of the less in-your-face colours that would be less tricky to apply, although when well applied, you know, this looks really nice. So the cream blushes are the thing that most people have raved about. I'm still kind of on the fence, and overall still prefer the powder blushes by Chanel, which I love very much, although the one thing where this gains over them is durability, staying on the face. Can I just mention one lipstick that I got from the Paparazzi collection earlier this year, which is still available, I think, called Fiction, which I'm enjoying very much in the Rouge Cocoa Shines. Coming off there, quite a strong berry stain, but it's quite complex with lots of kind of flecks of almost gold in it. It's really coming into its own now in the autumn, and it's a very wearable vampy shade that's quite moisturising to your lips as well over the satins and the mattes. So I really recommend Fiction if you're in the market for a nice quality, plummy, vampy shade that isn't too frightening to wear. So I hope that's helpful. That's my kind of impression of the items that I bought from the Chanel 4 collection. I'm probably going to go back and get the eye pencil in Khaki if they've still got it, having ummed and ahed, and maybe I will get another blush. Overall, I think it's been a very successful collection with a lot of products that are really worth having. So definitely worth having a look at if you haven't bought yet and you think there is something that you would like and are in the market for Chanel's pricey but really classy products. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.